On the next episode of Sips, Suds, and Smokes,
the Alabama craft beer we'll be tasting and discussing today are from Goat Island Brewing in Cullman, Alabama, the Goatopia Hazy IPA. From Main Channel Brewing Company in Guntersville, Alabama, I'm assuming.
Guntersville.
Dunkelweisse. From Common Bond Brewers in Montgomery, Alabama, the Ramber Red Amber Ale. From Druid City Brewing Company in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the Raspberry Mango Berliner Weisse. That sounds very Tuscaloosa.
It's Neon Moon. Sorry, I left that out. Sorry. Neon Moon. Raspberry Mango thing.
This makes the plot thickens.
Yes.
From Red Clay Brewing Company in Opelika, Alabama, the Miura Dutch Courage Pilsner and the RCB Southern Style IPA. From Braided River Brewing in Mobile, Alabama, the Boom Boom American Pale Ale.
we'll be right back after this break. Brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Welcome, everyone, to another Suds segment where we all believe that all people are created equal. But all beer? No, not so much. I gotta draw the line there. I don't know about you guys. Well, I'm one of your hosts today, good old gal Julieanna, and joining me at the table is good old boy Kendall.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to today.
Nice to see you. Good old boy Drew. Hello.
Hello. How are you today? I'm
good. How are you?
I'm slightly apprehensive after that intro about, not all beer is created equal, but, we'll see what we get to.
Fair. Good old boy Dave.
God almighty, I'm not part of this.
Oh, yes, you are. How are you?
I'm good. I'm getting ready to use this button a lot.
Banned once again.
Even though Mike's not here.
Is that the shape of things to come?
I think so.
We shall see. So recently, good old boy Dave and I took a trip to...
Pennsylvania.
No. I know what you're thinking. And no, we actually went somewhere instead of Pennsylvania.
I didn't know there were places other than Pennsylvania that our car could drive to.
Who said it was our car?
All roads lead to Pennsylvania.
All roads in my heart, yes, lead to PA. Well, we went in the opposite direction and did a little beer shopping in, wait for it, Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Oh, God.
What was that?
Just no.
Are you trying to lose the fine people at our table?
Roll Tide.
That's just wrong.
I don't know what's worse, what he's saying, or that it's a electronic, robot voice.
I know. It sounds like freaking AI.
This poor AI
little
that
known
you
fact.
abused.
Stephen Hawking was a Bama fan. Yeah. Crimson Tide. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Now, as longtime fans of the show will know, and we know there's a couple of you here, good old boy Mike has been banned from stepping foot into Alabama for several years now. Oh, it was a whole big thing. I won't go into all the details, but apparently there's an actual limit on how many jokes you can make about dating your sister there. And he exceeded that in spades. So good old boy Dave is, half Alabamian.
On my father's side.
Yeah, we decided to see what's happening there recently in craft beer.
That's why I've got those summer teeth. Some are missing, some are crooked. So,
Wow.
Okay,
Here.
brother daddy.
Popular trait.
right?
Yep.
Okay. Good boy, Drew. Why don't you give us today's lineup?
The Alabama craft beer we'll be tasting and discussing today are from Goat Island Brewing in Cullman, Alabama, the Goatopia Hazy IPA. From Main Channel Brewing Company in Guntersville, Alabama, I'm assuming.
Guntersville.
Dunkelweisse. From Common Bond Brewers in Montgomery, Alabama, the Ramber Red Amber Ale. From Druid City Brewing Company in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the Raspberry Mango Berliner Weisse. That sounds very Tuscaloosa.
It's Neon Moon. Sorry, I left that out. Sorry. Neon Moon. Raspberry Mango thing.
This makes the plot thickens.
Yes.
From Red Clay Brewing Company in Opelika, Alabama, the Miura Dutch Courage Pilsner and the RCB Southern Style IPA.
Southern style.
And then from Braided River Brewing in Mobile, Alabama, the Boom Boom American Pale Ale. Boom Boom.
Not to be convinced with the boom boom. Or confused.
I want you in my room so we can go
Boom boom.
boom boom. Brother daddy.
This show just took a very dark turn.
It usually does about this point.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't
welcome.
take long.
Kind of
Thank
surprised
you.
it took that long. Yeah.
Thank you. That was, wow, extraordinary.
Well done.
Yes, well done. And that accent, boy.
It's close in a lot of places.
I do what I can, Just Southern boy, mean no harm.
Yeah, great. Good boy, Kendall. Why don't you give us the Suds ratings for today?
Okay.
And you can use a Southern accent too if you want.
I can't do Alabama. I'll just do my Tennessee accent.
Just play it straight. Yeah.
All right. We'll be discussing and rating these Alabama beers with these Suds ratings, plus our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. 1, that sucks. Give me anything but an Uncle Daddy. 2, was that a belch or the Auburn fight song?
War Eagle.
Or I should say first, 3, what a relief. We can't possibly be any more banned in Alabama than we already are. And 4, a body should really not make that sound after ingesting some of that white barbecue sauce. And 5, listen to that hang time. Give me another.
Roll Tide.
Something you can say in the bedroom and no.
Rude. Okay, well,
Look, we're playing to the audience.
I
I guess.
we're
I don't
playing
know.
to something. Playing
I'm
to
just
something.
trying to irritate Mike as much as possible.
Okay. Well, that's fair. All right, let's get into it. So the first beer of the day is the Goatopia Juicy IPA, 6.2% ABV. This is tropical IPA is hazy, fruit forward, full bodied, little creamy, low bitterness, juicy, peach, passion fruit, and all sorts of a utopian world of beer bliss.
That's a lot of adjectives in that.
Yeah.
And that's not even the full thing.
They know that many words in Alabama?
Apparently.
Banned once again.
banned.
So, okay, as far as juicy IPAs go,
I mean, this is a beer I could drink a couple of, which I don't say about a lot of hazies. It's a very light haze, even when you look at it.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of haziness there, but it's not opaque, like,
Yeah.
something you see from
Agreed.
the Northeast breweries. And it's just kind of, I think it's overall a pretty drinkable beer.
would you classify this though as a hazy juicy hazy?
I don't find it that juicy.
Agreed.
Not so much. It's kind of like a hazy, juicy light.
It's got a little dryness to it.
Yeah.
That like if you're trying to go juicy, you went the wrong way.
You got more
They're often a
crispy
little
with me.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that dryness actually works. That's why I want more than one of these.
I
'cause
agree. Yeah.
So many of them are too sweet and filling, and it's like, ugh, I had one. That's enough.
I think
Yeah.
I think the way they described it, they misrepresent it. And so
100%.
like if you're trying, like if you think you're going to go get a Julius or something,
this isn't going to be.
You're gonna be like,
What's the ABV on this? Because it feels
6.2.
Okay, so it's pretty even low for an IPA.
Right.
It's almost.
Right.
It's almost. I mean, I get it. IPA sells, but this is really more of a pale ale.
I was going to say, this is pale ale territory.
This is
basically.
a very crushable beer. Yeah.
Very, which
Yes.
is not something you see a lot in hazy IPAs.
Sure.
Or Alabama.
I could drink this on the water in Alabama, and there's a lot of water, and it's very hot.
Yeah.
And this would be
Yeah.
refreshing.
Yeah.
Overall, good beer. And Goat Island is actually, it's crazy how many new breweries there are in Alabama that I haven't heard of, because they're the
It
only
is
ones on our list
wild.
today that I'm aware of that actually distribute here in Nashville.
There were a few that we saw that like we couldn't get everything that was new that we hadn't heard about. It's like every small town in North Alabama has their own brewery now.
Which is, that's come a long way from years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
if you remember,
Oh,
Alabama
yeah.
and Mississippi were the last two states to allow home brewing, and you needed home brewers to get your first professional brewers.
I was going to say, I
Right.
think Alabama's done a lot of work on the legal side.
They have.
As far as their taxes and and also Alabama does still have quite a few dry counties, but I think they've even cut back.
Yeah,
on
they've
that.
done a good job. I mean, if you compare those two states, which were beer deserts 20 years ago, Alabama is almost caught up to the rest, and Mississippi is still where beer goes to die.
Fair.
And that's just crazy to think about that. You know what
Because
I
if
mean?
you've ever been to Mississippi, you want to drink as much as possible while you're there.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that there's still dry counties.
There's dry
mean-
counties here in Tennessee.
Well,
Yeah.
I know.
I mean,
and,
honestly, I think the county where Jack Daniels is made is
Just
dry.
still.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a marketing gimmick at this point.
I
They
know,
could
but-
easily go wet. They're never gonna go.
I drive and visit my mother-in-law in Arkansas, and about half the state I go through is dry county. So I got to remember where I can stop to get beer on the way
In
because
Arkansas too? Okay. I mean, I'm sorry. I guess I'm just naive and just thinking that everywhere.
welcome to the Rusty Buckle of the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
There are no dry counties in Pennsylvania?
No.
What
Are you
about where the
kidding?
Amish live?
Well, it's Pennsylvania.
Well, the Amish don't drink.
Well, just because they don't drink doesn't mean the rest of the people living there
They're also
don't.
not enforcing their beliefs on people that are not Amish,
Yeah,
so
fair.
they're not voting to prevent it.
Don't see a lot of drunk DUI buggies, I guess.
Oh,
They're-
you can go to
but-
Lancaster and have like plenty of speakeasies and breweries and beer and,
Yeah.
all sorts of things. No,
How
no.
did we end up back in Pennsylvania? Good grief.
We always
All
end up in
roads.
Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Yeah, I like this beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
And what shall we
Yeah.
rate it? Woo! Right out of the gate, Goat Island Brewing in Cullman, Alabama is going to get a 4 for their Goatopia Hazy IPA.
Taste the goat.
Is there an island? Are there goats?
There are goats.
Are there goats on an island?
Have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it perhaps an island in the shape of a goat?
I have been.
Oh, that would be
I've been to
rad.
Cullman many times.
There's a river, isn't
There's
there?
no.
There's no goat. There's no goat
Island.
island. Maybe there is. I don't know. There's
You
a
said
lake.
you've been there many times.
There's a lake. Well, I was a kid. I wasn't drinking beer then.
Oh,
they probably weren't
yeah.
brewing beer then, to be
This is
honest.
where the familia come from. All right, to be continued in just a minute.
I think the people of Cullman have appropriated an island that may not belong to them.
Welcome back, everyone.
Geographical appropriation.
Yes.
So right before the break, we were talking about the Goatopia Juicy IPA, and that is from Goat Island Brewing Company in Cullman, Alabama. And we discovered that there really was, or is,
There is an island in Lake Martin called Goat Island, which is more in central Alabama. Not far from Cullman, but probably an hour or so. But maybe that's the Goat Island. I don't know. Next time I run into the folks at a beer fest, I'll ask them.
Yeah, they have some explaining to do.
There's nothing on their website about it, so I would figure at least nothing I could find.
okay.
That really gets my goat.
Does it now?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we're going to move on. We're going to go to the next beer. And the next beer is from Main Channel Brewing Company in, did we say Guntersville? Guntersville?
I'm
I like
going with
Guntersville.
Guntersville.
There's your
Okay.
Alabama.
And this is a,
The T is silent. Guntersville.
okay.
Probably.
This is a Dunkelweisse. And honestly, that's kind of impressive for me.
Is there a large German population in Alabama?
Well, I'm wondering, so looking on the website for this brewery, they do have like an assortment of like amber, dunkel, kolsch, American wheat, dry Irish stout, so like they don't seem too far off the beaten path when it comes to like beer styles, but good for them. But they have a Chardonnay and a red Zinfandel too.
From Alabama wine country?
I guess. Is that a thing?
Sure.
So anyways, this Dunkel is 5.8% ABV. Dark German wheat ale. That's perfect for any occasion.
I like this beer, man.
Wow.
I like this beer a lot, dude.
Yeah,
Tasty.
I mean, so many Dunkelweisse are like, can be banana bombs, and that's the way I've described a lot of them.
Yeah.
You get that banana like you do in a Hefeweizen, but I describe this as a like kind of liquid banana bread. But this is really subtle in those notes from the yeast.
Okay, and for the uneducated that don't know what a Dunkelweisse is, what is it?
It's similar to a Hefeweizen, but you're putting in a little dark grains to give it a little more roasty flavor, a little more just color and overall complexity. So very similar flavors, but a little bit
darker,
more
chocolatey
more
notes.
chocolatey, more darker.
And for those that aren't fans of wheaters, this is a nice graduated version, if you will, of it.
There's nothing like, to Kendall's point, this is a very subtly flavored beer,
Yeah, it's really drinkable.
It's got a nice creaminess to it too, Yeah.
This is a good food
And the
beer.
color's nice. I mean, okay, we didn't really say what to go with that last beer, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, a juicy IPA is a juicy IPA. I mean, we know all day what to do with that. What would you pair with this?
I think this would go great with a burger. I mean, and I love darker beers with grilled meat, red meat.
So give me a brat, give me a sausage.
Anything like that.
Fatty,
I said maybe even boil the brat in it afterwards.
Oh,
Just
yeah. Yeah, totally.
Just a very pleasant. Like, I'm not a huge fan of wheat beers for the most part, but the German styles usually they handle the wheat pretty well. But this is,
I'm just generally not a fan of the Dunkelweisse. It's a weird style that I don't think a lot of people in America drink regularly.
Yeah.
But this is a good one. A lot of them are kind of over the top in those yeast derived clove and banana flavors, but
Yeah.
this
Sure.
one is like I said, it's very, those are gentle in here, and it's just really, really drinkable.
I always feel like most of the Dunkels that I get are just a bunch of dark malt extract poured in and syrupy sweetness left over at the end. This is decidedly not that.
And honestly, I just don't see a lot of Dunkels. Like to even,
because a lot of people don't want to drink it.
I mean, even to like try it and say, okay, I'm going to go with something today that I don't, normally gravitate towards, but for the sake of being a lover of beer, I'm going to, So this is,
I mean, you go to some of those German, like, true German, like beer hall breweries that are around, but you get it. But then, a lot of times if you want to go to the beer store or something, you have to get one that's from Germany, and then they're usually old.
Very old.
And it's
Very
sitting
old.
there for friggin' ever because nobody likes them. And then when you taste it, it tastes like crap, and that's why, so.
yeah, fair. And then you're like, I'm never going to do it again. Okay. So what do we think of this beer then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. Okay.
Strong start,
so,
Alabama.
Yeah. So the Dunkelweisse from Main Channel Brewing in Guntersville, Alabama, we are going to rate a 4.
The best part about this so far to me is that Mike always emails the breweries to let them know that their product made on the show. So now he's going to send very nice emails to all these Alabama breweries to tell them how happy he is that their product was featured on our show.
Yeah. Okay.
Shake my hips just a little bit more.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Next up. And this, I'm going to say before anything, I do like the website on this. I do like what the guys are doing. And I know websites don't necessarily mean anything, but I can appreciate a good website where they really give you some good details about their beer rotation that they have. Okay.
You want to just knock stuff around.
I do. Knock it around. Okay. So this is from Common Bond Brewers in Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
And this is a Ramber Red Amber Ale. Say that 10 times fast.
Roll Tide.
Or not. 5.2% ABV. Full flavored yet highly sessionable. It's a rye grain amber ale. Has a malty backbone with a hint of sweetness balanced with a clean hop profile. And look at this. It pairs well with pizza, barbecue, chicken, and garlic bread.
This
I can see that.
Is that an Alabama staple? Like that
Oh, they
meal
love
goes
garlic
together?
bread.
And
Garlic
that-
bread
or-
with chicken and
I'm pretty sure garlic bread was either invented in Italy or Alabama. It's one or the other.
Fair.
One of the two. Yeah. When I first tasted this, I swear I thought it tasted like sweet tea.
I was thinking something similar. Like there was a tea
Yeah.
taste there. It's that really
It's
strange.
not a bad thing.
A little,
necessarily.
yeah, it's almost like a little herbal tannic flavor.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that is interesting. And I'm starting to really dig it.
And because it has that sweetness on the backside, when it's like not Milo's
Is
sweet
that
tea,
the
but
rye?
Well, that's what I was wondering because, normally when one drinks a red ale, you're not getting a huge amount of spice. I mean, rye is not the main component when I think of a red, right?
Right.
And
Probably at all.
Well,
But
and
this-
most reds that I've had with rye, I hate just for. This is not that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got an earthiness. I wonder, I'm just wild guess here, but I'm wondering if they use some kind of English hops too, because it's not hopped like it's got American hops in it.
No.
They are using Williamette.
Okay. So American hops with an English background.
Yeah.
They were derived from Fuckles. So yeah, Williamette's, that makes sense.
I don't know. But, I mean,
It tastes good.
It is very good. Yeah,
really good.
Just strange.
It's the most
like,
interesting amber I've had in
Because like
ages.
some of
Same.
these, they'll have like a little bit of roastiness sometimes, but like this is not that either. This is just a tea beer. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a little sweetness on the finish, but it works.
It
and it's
does.
not overly sweet. It's just it's just there. And like you said,
Yeah.
it is almost like a sweet tea.
And another thing that I really like about this brewery is they're not doing anything crazy. Like, I mean, their seasonal offerings are like a wheat, a shady, and a Mexican lager. Okay, fine. Yep, for Alabama, like for that weather, sure. Those are like perfect summer offerings, right? But for their year-round offerings, it's the amber, the stout, the blonde, the pale ale, and a session IPA. And they have
Tastes good.
do you think so? Wow. And then they have like a little bit more of they have a different IPA. So like they're not experimenting and going hog wild. Like they're not in Southern Grist territory when it comes to beer. But this is another one that's kind of
So-
surprised me.
I feel like things are going too well.
Same.
We've got to take a turn here because
Yeah.
I mean,
This is almost like that.
although I will say most breweries that I have encountered in Alabama make pretty solid beer.
Yeah. I think Alabama's
They
got,
generally do a good job.
I think there's a good brewing culture in Alabama, and maybe that's because it took longer for it to develop. But then also, I think they have pretty good water there too. So I'm
Well, there's
guessing
certainly
that.
a lot of it.
Sure.
A lot of limestone
Yeah.
and everything else.
At some point, pretty soon, the next couple beers, either Kendall or Drew, and you guys can fight it out who should. One of you is going to have to channel your inner Mike and hate on a beer.
And hate on a beer.
I was ready for it to be this one with the name
Sure.
Ramber Red Amber Ale.
Yeah.
From
Which
Yeah.
Nope, it's a good.
Montgomery.
It's a good one.
There's
Yeah.
there's a lot that rolls off the tongue there. Yeah. But this is really I mean,
It's another winner to me.
It really is. And for a red, like that's even blowing me away even more because I don't know about you guys, but to me, a red is a misfit toy out of a lot of the beer styles that we have. You know,
we rarely
Sadly
cover
so.
them because people rarely make them. You know,
or if they do make them, they're just so bad.
yeah.
You know, it's like they weren't even trying. But I mean, cheers to these guys. This is wow.
It's like they bought up some extra caramel malt or something. They're like, crap. Now what are we gonna do?
Maybe. But still, this is, I mean, this is great. Okay, so what shall we rate this? Oh my gosh, we are 3 for 3, folks. So from Common Bond Brewers in Montgomery, the Ramber Red Amber Ale. Cannot say that fast. We are going to rate a 4.
Well, it's Alabama. You're not supposed to say it fast.
So you got to get down into the draw to get it out.
Ramber.
Ramber Red Amber Ale
I'm sorry.
to Pennsylvania.
I can't.
All right, we gonna story time?
Yes, I think it's time for story time.
Who's got story time?
So,
Drew's got story time.
All right.
Sweet. Tell us a story.
from the BBC News and Anna Fagee, is how I'm going to pronounce
Good
it.
old Anna Fagee.
Earrings worth $769,500 recovered by Florida police after alleged thief swallows them.
Talk about a crappy job.
Jathan Gilder, 32, swallowed the Tiffany & Company diamond earrings around the time he was taken into custody on the 26th of February, police said. Mr. Gilder was monitored by detectives at an Orlando hospital for more than a dozen days before the earrings were expelled from his system, according to the Orlando PD. Mr. Gilder faces charges of robbery with a mask and grand theft in the first degree. Tiffany's has since cleaned the earrings.
Do they have to sell those on a discount? Because that's like, you know, if you buy a house that someone was murdered in it, you know, like, okay,
Have to disclose.
these earrings were pooped.
By a 32-year-old man who posed as an assistant to an NBA player so he could be shown very high-end jewelry in a VIP room at a Tiffany & Company store in Orlando.
Hey, I work for Steph Curry, and he's thinking about some new earrings. And what do you got? What do you got to show me? I'd like something less than $1 million, over $500K. You know.
Supposedly, Mr. Glider distracted the store employees and then ran from the store with 2 pairs of earrings. He apparently also dropped a diamond ring valued at $587,000.
Whoa.
What?
As he fled.
How did they not have people with guns pointed at anyone, like anyone who is gonna have,
Well, especially in Florida.
a couple $1 million of jewelry? Just yeah, that's fine, man.
So when officers caught up with him later that day, they saw him swallowing several objects believed to be the stolen earrings. Officials transporting him to the jail allegedly heard him say, "I should have thrown them out the window." At the jail, the perpetrator allegedly asked the staff, "Am I going to be charged with what's in my stomach?" Showing once again that Alabama...
What else was in there? Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Florida has the smartest criminals.
Yes. Am I going to be charged with what's in my stomach? Wow.
Plausible deniability out the window there.
And I like how the story included an image of the actual
The
earrings-
X-ray.
The X-ray where the earrings were inside that young man. Yeah.
Indeed. His alleged criminal history shows a 2022 robbery at a Tiffany & Company store in Texas. So he's done this before.
It worked then. Well, I guess it didn't work then if he got arrested then. So
And there are 48 separate warrants out for his arrest in Colorado.
48.
Wow.
Interesting. This is a special person.
Indeed.
What do you have to do to get warrants in Colorado? I mean, they pretty much allow anything. It's Wild West out there, literally.
Wow.
I mean, weed's legal. You know, you kind of do whatever you want in Colorado.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. That's,
Crime doesn't pay.
that's
You are what you eat.
Oh. I don't know.
That's
Hey, he's a shiny diamond.
Really?
Maybe a crazy diamond.
Yeah, shine on you, crazy diamond. Yeah, I like that. Well played. I don't know, man. Like, what's the weirdest thing you guys? Oh, wait, Julieanna, you work at an OR.
Oh.
What's the weirdest stuff you've ever had to wait for somebody to evacuate?
Monitor their.
Have you had to monitor someone's evacuations over a period of days?
Well, I think I told you the story. Okay, this is many years ago. It's like when I first moved down here.
One time at band camp.
Yeah, one time at band camp. So in the beginning, I used to work second shift. And second shift was great because, usually people would come home from work and then look at, I'd look at you funny and then, start a little fight with you, or I'd be sitting on the back porch or the front porch reading the Bible, contemplating the day and praising the fact that I lived through the day, and then, start a fight or somebody hit me or something like that. But this particular evening, which was a weekend, I believe, there was a drug deal that was going down with crack. And so dealer met the guy, there was an exchange, but there was a fight over money, and somebody called the cops, and then people fled. Well, the dealer must have given the sample to said buyer, like, hey, you gotta try this, this is great, And there was a discrepancy as to how good the stuff
This
was.
crack is subpar, sir.
Right. Well, anyways, the dealer wanted to protect his earnings, right? So what does one person do? Well, as he was fleeing, he decided somehow that he was going to store the pipe and, bless you, and some more of his stuff, his stash, somewhere within him.
Oh.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, the police wanted to stop him, so they, they hit him.
This pipe was glass, I presume.
Yes, it was glass. So they shot at him and, got him in the leg and got him in the belly. Nothing too bad. But anyways, he came to the hospital and, we worked on him. At the end of the case, we needed to do an x-ray on him. And
That's where you found.
there was something on the x-ray that didn't look normal. So I'm going to finish this after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Today is a road tripping episode where good old boy Dave and I went to Alabama to do some beer shopping. And right before the break, we were having a little story time and an extended story time. And I was talking about what I encountered one night at work at a fine hospital in the fine city that I live in currently. So the x-ray was done, and there was something there that shouldn't have been there. And the surgeon asked his resident to
Pull it out.
to take
Extract?
to feel for something
Whoa.
and do a exam
Whoa.
in the southern regions.
Like Alabama.
Did the
And when that resident did
Roll
that,
did the resident have very small hands?
anyways, when they were reaching
Extracting?
and extracting, they extracted a pipe
Yeah.
that apparently was still lit at the time of insertion,
Oh, wow.
as well as 2 bags of things.
That's another way to smoke crack.
So, yes.
I've heard of boofing before,
So
but
that person then had to, when that happened, that person ended up getting another procedure because of things that were adhering that shouldn't have been adhering.
Oh, it was hot and it stuck to him.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's get back to the beer. I can't, no.
Yeah, you took way too much of our life.
Yes.
that's an interesting segue for Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Okay.
Roll Tide.
So let's go on to our next beer. This is from Druid City Brewing in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and it's called Neon Moon. It is 4.9% ABV. It is a Berliner Weisse with raspberry and mango.
Yeah.
cease and desist sent? Or
I
do you
think this
they
is the
paid for
one.
the licensing?
This is the one.
It's not. Yeah, I wouldn't want much of this. The raspberry tastes like they just put a little raspberry extract in there. It tastes a little fake syrupy almost.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah, I bet they sell a lot of it, but I wouldn't want.
We're saving
more
a
than
can
one.
of this for Mike.
Would you think that maybe this is a little bit of a girly beer if I have to, like, you know what I mean?
I hate to say that, but yeah,
Like-
that's what I mean. It kind
like
of sells
college-y.
well. Yeah, the people who don't like beer drink this.
This this would go well with the seltzer crowd.
It's so light, it almost tastes like one. It's a super light beer. The Berliner Weisse is weird because a name because it's not really that tart, and
And on a
little-
Berliner, you would
a
expect
little more tartness might
there,
make this better. Actually,
Yeah.
right? I mean, don't you expect there to be tartness and then you add a syrup to?
But then again, we were saying this is probably a beer for people who don't like beer and they don't know what to expect
Okay, I mean that's
I think they were looking
by the
for.
light of the neon moon.
I think they were looking for a light, fruity style to appeal to the, cheerleaders. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I am sorry, Tuscaloosa, but the Druid City Brewing Company's Raspberry Mango Berliner Weisse, we are going to rate a 2.
I'm sure their other beers are lovely.
Yeah. I mean,
Just make them available in Huntsville, where we go to buy beer. So,
yeah. Okay, moving on. Then let's go to Red Clay Brewing in Opelika.
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 Okay, sorry.
Alabama.
Okay, thank you. So this is the Miura Dutch Courage Pilsner.
This is almost a Florida in Alabama, isn't it?
Yeah,
Extreme southern.
pretty much. This is an odd tasting beer.
there's something weird on the kind of the malt finish on this.
Yeah.
It's like very grainy or bready.
There's a medicinalish kind of note to it as well that is almost like an Underberg, like
I was
on the front end.
that or like
or maybe that's
herbal.
Yeah.
You know, that could be, and it could be from the German hops, those notes, but still, it's just like, it feels out of balance.
yeah.
What makes it Dutch courage?
Dutch
is it gin? You know, so that's what I keep wondering. Like, so I believe that was a saying that came up and say you drink a bunch of gin in Old England and it gave you Dutch courage.
Well, this beer, which is 5% ABV, it's a Pilsner with juniper berries, lemon peel, star anise, orange peel,
That's what we're
coriander,
getting. Okay.
cardamom, and black pepper.
Wow. Okay, so now considering all that's in it, yeah, I see what they're doing with it.
The term Dutch courage originated in the 17th century when Dutch sailors were given Genever, the ancestor to gin, to bolster their courage in preparation for battle. This Pilsner is Red Clay's tribute to that wonderful spirit and made with juniper berries and other botanicals.
Okay, that makes a lot more
Yeah.
sense.
Now, yeah, I
And
like if you know the story behind it, then the beer is pretty
achieved
interesting.
it.
And
Yes.
yeah, they nailed it. So I like what they're doing
This
with
does
it. because
bring to mind Juniper.
If this was just a Pilsner, I'd go, there's something weird. There's something wrong with this. But
Yeah.
you put all that in, and it's like, oh, okay.
until you hear the story of Dutch courage,
Right.
this beer is infected. But now that it's it's actually a pretty well crafted beer, and I do enjoy the flavor.
Kudos for going out on a limb.
Kudos for having
Yeah.
some Dutch courage,
No.
getting out there and making something.
How drunk were you when you came up with this idea?
I also don't know if I drink a lot of these. but
Same.
I could drink a pint. It's interesting beer.
Would you pair this with something like food?
Yeah, what would you pair
Man,
this?
it would be hard with those notes.
Give me a cheese board. Maybe some
something like that.
charcuterie
Cheese and
or
charcuterie. Yeah,
just to
that'd do
kind
it.
of balance it out. And yeah,
Nice and
What you think?
simple and
we
easy,
can do
huh?
that.
Okay. Well, we are going to rate
Miura Dutch Courage Pilsner. I don't know.
from Red Clay.
I don't,
You Paruski.
Okay.
I don't have a good Dutch accent.
We are going to rate this a 3.
I don't think you're wearing enough orange and you're not tall enough.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay.
Only two kinds of people I don't.
So the next one is going to be interesting. Again, this is from Red Clay Brewing Company. And I'm going to say a little piece here for a second about this website.
Buddy. Say your piece.
Their website is painful.
Doo-doo?
Yeah, because it doesn't give a list of beer that they have on tap or like rotational or anything like that. And it would constantly ask me for if I'm 21 or not. Like you would click the 21 and then it would like a minute later refresh and ask me again. And I finally just like gave up. I'm like, ugh.
They want to be
sure
really
you're 21?
sure. Yeah.
Okay. I am in spades. So this is 7% ABV. This is their southern take on an American IPA. The IPA is hop forward with notes of pine and citrus. The light malty flavor accentuates the Amarillo, Citra, and Simcoe hops, making it an IPA lover's dream. Okay, so Amarillo, Citra, Simcoe.
It's a fairly classic
Yeah.
American
But
combo.
but when I hear those things, doesn't it lean a little bit more towards the West?
Yeah, it's in the style of a West Coast. I don't know if there is a Southern style IPA. I've been thinking about that. If I was going to say there is a standard for a Southern IPA, it's got to be Sweetwater IPA.
Yeah.
It's just such
Yeah,
a
I
good
can
beer.
see
But
it.
even that
Is very West.
It's kind of West Coasty, yeah.
It's still West Coasty.
I think we actually talked about on this show before whether or not should be called a Southern style IPA.
Yeah. But it's okay. I feel like it needs a little more malt and body to stand up to the hops we've got. It feels a little thin to me, and it's an okay beer. But
what's the ABV on this one?
7.
Yeah, it doesn't come across.
Yeah,
taste like it.
No, that's
I was going to
dangerous.
say, does it taste 7?
It needs a little more oomph. It needs,
Yeah.
There's a reason
I mean, it's
we used to put more caramel malts in our IPAs.
give it a little more.
Give it
push.
a little more.
Yeah.
Well, sure, because if you're adding all of those hops in, I mean, and if you get a lot of alpha-y, sharpness, you want a good strong malt
I don't even
backbone.
get-
But do you even get the sharpness of the hops?
I don't even get a lot of the.
Or
I
any
just don't get a
sharpness.
lot of anything. I
Yeah,
think,
it's
This almost reminds me of like a session. When somebody makes a session version of their
A session
regular,
IPA?
yeah,
it kind of does have that
like
light
this
flavor.
drink's like a
It's-
4.2%.
Yeah, it needs a little work. It's not a terrible beer, but it needs some tweaking.
It needs to warm up a little bit too.
Okay, fair.
I'm getting a little more of the hops now that I've
Let it sit.
yeah.
Now that you've cuddled it a
Yes.
little bit.
Aww.
Hey, good old boy Drew's a cuddler. It's
Pretty drinkable though.
Okay,
Which I guess if you're trying to sell a lot of it is kind of the goal, right?
Right.
So if you didn't,
I guess if you want to drink a lot of a 6 or 7% beer that tastes like a 4% beer and just get hammered.
Have you been in Alabama? No. Oh, that's right. No.
Alabama's in me.
Wow. Okay, thanks. Well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, what would you? I guess if I didn't classify it, you know what I mean. If I just grabbed it and said, "Hey, this is an IPA," I'd be okay.
Is there a style that it
no,
is?
it's more of a pale ale.
Yeah.
Okay.
It really does remind me more of a pale ale.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it probably is a victim of marketing. Say, hey, what IPAs do you have?
I'd say
And
it's a small mid coast or was it third coast IPA? 'Cause I don't
is
even
that
think
what we're going-
I don't think it's even fully West Coast to me. I mean,
it doesn't remind me of what I would call the quote unquote third coast IPAs, like Two Hearted, if you
Yeah.
will. Like
Yeah.
there's no
I just don't-
Centennial in this.
don't get like a whole bunch of pine or
No.
No, and
man,
that's
no.
what they're saying in
Yeah.
part of the description.
right. So like, yeah,
Where is
where'd
it?
you put it?
Yeah,
You know?
it's hiding. Yeah.
It's in the 6th can of each 6-pack.
It's that Alabama yellow pine.
You gotta drink 5 okay beers, and you get that 6th one, man.
It comes
you
out
are kapow.
In spades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair. So
Not terrible, though.
What
I mean, it's
shall we
fine.
rate the Southern Style IPA? Yep. Okay. We are going to go with a 3 from Red Clay.
They're lucky good old boy Mike's not on this show.
Oosh. Okay. Well, last but certainly not least, we're going to Braided River Brewing in Mobile, Alabama. And this is their Boom Boom Pale Ale.
Boom, boom.
I like this one.
So this is your day drinking Mardi Gras companion.
This is it's just a pale ale. This is, when I said the last one was a pale ale, I was wanting more like this. And this one's got a little
This one has more flavor
It does.
than the last one. Yeah.
Okay, so this is 5.3% ABV.
Tastes like more like 7.
Almost 2% less alcohol, but
tastes like it has more.
way more flavor. Yeah.
And this is
And it's got some body to it.
this is a pale ale that's a homage to Sierra Nevadas, like everybody else's pale ale. This is a classic American pale ale, and they didn't try to lighten it up, or that color's like almost a little bit orange. Mm-hmm. This is a very standard old school American pale ale.
What is
Burnt
the
orange?
aroma that comes through to you? Like, how would you describe the aroma? There's a certain part of the aroma, and I can't name it, but
It's a little bit of pininess. A little bit of that.
that's what it is.
But it's not, you don't get that dankness you get out of a lot of the big West Coast
Right,
hops.
yeah.
But a little bit of pininess overall.
Maybe that's what I'm.
Do you get any
getting
pith?
No pith.
No pith.
Actually, I'm getting a little more malt off the aroma than even
Yes.
hops. It's
Okay.
you're getting that little
This is definitely.
slightly grainy sweetiness you do from a little caramel malt.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm picking. Is that caramel? Yeah.
Okay. Well, the reason why I'm asking about pithiness is so in their description, they say in Mobile, folly rules. Only here does folly ever beat death, and this pale ale is an ode to the revelry and fun of Mardi Gras. This day drinker balances a creamy malt base with hop flavors of grapefruit, oak, and coconut. Our town was born to
coconut.
celebrate, and when the parade starts rolling, it's time to take me to the boom boom.
I get the grapefruit.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, which is pretty standard.
Yeah.
I think what hops did they say they use?
Doesn't.
Because there's a couple of hops that are where you can get a little
it-
coconut out of it, but I don't know that I'm.
Yeah, there's one that starts with an S. I can't remember now. I bought a bunch of it. Strata. Is it Strata that has a very coconut flavor?
I thought Strata was the strawberry. No?
No, Velma.
Velma is strawberry? Okay.
Something like that.
Okay, gotcha.
I think you might be right. I think it might be Strata.
But I've brewed beers with only Strata, and I don't get a lot of coconut out of it. But people tell me you're getting a lot of coconut, and I just didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not getting a lot of coconut out of this, but I don't expect coconut in an American pale ale. You
Right.
want pine and grapefruit and caramel. That's it. That's what this beer has.
Dag nabbit. So enjoy being good.
Boom,
Boom,
boom.
boom.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Okay.
Kendall likes you. That's enough.
He wants you in his room.
Whoa.
I do like the can art of it, though.
It is cool.
I mean, and it's got a very Mardi Gras-y themed thing
Nice.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice
So,
job.
what are we thinking about the boom boom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, from Braided River Brewing in Mobile, Alabama, we are going to go with the 4.
Sorry, I pulled the trigger.
I know you
too
did.
fast.
That's fine.
Sorry.
For the Boom Boom American Pale Ale.
What are you guys thinking overall of the flight in general?
It was a good flight. I mean, we had more 4s than I thought. I mean,
Yeah.
the majority of the beers were 4. So good job, Alabama.
I'm
think-
considering going to Alabama and not just through it. Like
There you
I
go.
might actually make a beer trip, around Alabama.
Nice.
Like, wow.
Wow.
I mean, crazy, right? Okay. Well, that is going to do it for today. Go to Kendall. Thanks so much for being on this journey.
It was
with
great.
us.
It was nice to sample a lot of new Alabama beer.
Cool. Please tell us about your blog.
My wife and I blog about the good news of good beer at beermakes3.com.
Hi, June. Good old boy, Drew. Thanks so much for being here.
It was a pleasure, unexpectedly.
Would you like to
Not
plug anything?
the company, but no, I'm good. I'm good.
Good old boy, Dave.
Moist. moist.
Perhaps I should plug Dave's mouth.
Yeah, right. This is good. Okay,
That'll be done
Julieanna.
after you leave. Joey.
Keep on chuggling, and we'll catch you next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening to us online, do yourself a favor and tap
Tap it in.
the subscribe button.
Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
The easiest way to listen to our show is to ask Siri, Alexa, Google, Uncle Larry, or whoever it is that talks to you on your phone, play podcast Sip, Suds, and Smokes. We love your feedback, and you can reach us at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Our tasting notes flow out on Twitter and Instagram with our handle @SipSudsAndSmokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll also be able to interact with the thousands
Millions and millions.
of other fans on those social media platforms. Do us a favor. Take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. Come back, join us for another episode, and keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sip, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.